The film begins with a high school girl named Mahiro Fukugawa, who is having a job interview at a local mini-market owned by a man named Mizu. At that time, Mahiro is applying for a part-time waiter position. Then, as the interview starts, Mahiro seems nervous and unsure of herself. Shortly after, Mizu asks Mahiro if she has any other job besides this one. In some countries, it's common for people, especially students working part-time, to have multiple jobs in a day. Mahiro hesitantly responds that she also does streamer activities, indicating that she streams content online as part of her other job. It turns out that Mizu confided in Mahiro that his own son had struggled with a gaming addiction and wanted to become a streamer like her. Mizu shared how he had taken drastic measures, like throwing away his son's computer, to discourage him from wasting time on such pursuits. He warned Mahiro not to fall into the same trap, emphasizing that such activities don't lead to making money. As Mizu continued to give advice, quoting famous figures, Mahiro became increasingly despondent. Unexpectedly, Mahiro, who had initially seemed innocent and sweet, became visibly nervous. She couldn't tolerate the conversation any longer and reached into her bag, pulling out a pistol with a silencer attached. After fatally shooting Mizu, Mahiro muttered to herself that at worst, she would only be scolded. She admitted she wasn't skilled at covering her tracks. She then nonchalantly took a photo of Mizu's body with her cell phone before calmly leaving the interview room. To Mahiro's surprise, the mini-market was actually a front for a criminal organization. She hadn't realized she was being watched. She glanced at her phone again and muttered that someone named Tasaka would be able to handle the situation and ensure no police interference. Suddenly, chaos erupted as the workers and henchmen realized their boss had been killed. Then, a fierce battle ensued, revealing Mahiro's true, dangerous nature beneath her innocent face. Despite being outnumbered and facing adult men, Mahiro emerged victorious. As she caught her breath, a worker who appeared to be the group's leader sat back and watched as Mahiro defeated his comrades. He insisted that Mahiro must defeat him before she could leave. Though he is tougher than her, Mahiro still managed to overpower him. However, just as she seemed to have the upper hand, one of the surviving employees, named Chisato Sugimoto, attacked Mahiro from behind. Chisato taunted Mahiro as she nearly gave up to the surprise attack. Without hesitation, Mahiro fired her gun, ensuring that everyone present was eliminated. These seemingly sweet and innocent girls revealed their true, dangerous nature. During their conversation, it became clear that Mahiro and Chisato were members of a highly secretive professional assassin organization. They carried out the company's missions without question. At that time, Chisato scolded Mahiro for being distracted and careless. Despite the gravity of their work, they remained relaxed, even laughing and chatting casually amidst the corpses. After leaving the mini-market, Mahiro received a call and left. Later that afternoon, she met Chisato at an apartment. Unexpectedly, Chisato asked to borrow Mahiro's gun and requested her help in completing a task to kill a Yakuza, all while ensuring their own safety. At that time, it was seen that there's a man bleeding. Then, Chisato reveals that she's having a rough day. She had been attacked earlier and lost her firearm. Despite being contract killers, Chisato and her friends are supposed to blend in with society. In a hurry, Chisato receives a call from the restaurant where she works part-time. They need her to cover for an absent employee due to illness. She's asked to assist Mahiro with her tasks. Before leaving, Chisato casually shoots the injured man. Arriving at the restaurant, Chisato's senior immediately assigns her to decorate waffles with cream. However, she struggles with the task, frustrating her senior, who demands she redo it. Despite her efforts, Chisato fails repeatedly, even after her senior tries to demonstrate. Eventually, she manages to successfully decorate the waffles, earning praise from her senior. This boosts her spirits. Eagerly, Chisato serves the decorated waffles to a couple dining at the restaurant. Unfortunately, the man dislikes cream and gives his waffle to his girlfriend. Hearing that, Chisato is visibly upset, feeling unappreciated for her hard work. Witnessing this, her senior scolds her but ends up getting into a physical fight. After venting her frustration, Chisato realizes the severity of the situation. Fortunately, the couple survives, but Chisato loses her job as a consequence. Meanwhile, Mahiro returns home after completing the task Chisato assigned to her earlier. She spends her time calling every job vacancy listed in brochures. However, she faces a problem cause every job requires a live interview, leaving this introverted girl feeling confused and overwhelmed. Soon after, Chisato arrives home, revealing that turns out they live together in the same house. Despite sharing a living space, Chisato and Mahiro have contrasting personalities. Chisato is outgoing and sociable, while Mahiro is shy and finds it hard to interact with others. Their differences often lead to small arguments in their small apartment. Given their dangerous line of work as contract killers, these disagreements could potentially have deadly consequences. During their conversation, Chisato admits she has no issue with the company's directive to blend in and live normal lives. However, Mahiro feels extremely uncomfortable with the idea. Despite their successful careers as assassins, they're still required to pretend to be regular members of society, which Mahiro finds challenging. 2 weeks ago, an elderly man approached a high school girl, apologizing for being late. Little did he know, the girl was actually Chisato. She had disguised herself to lure him in. Pretending to be a high schooler in need of money, she offered to assist the old man. At that time, Chisato guided him to a secluded spot where Mahiro was already waiting. Together, they efficiently carried out their work. Soon after, Mahiro contacted their organization to dispose of the bodies, while Chisato sprayed perfume on themselves to mask the scent of gunpowder. When the old man's handkerchief fell, they discreetly throw it in a nearby trash can. Shortly after, their secret organization's representative, Tasaka, approached them. He informed the girls that they would soon graduate from high school and be required to live together afterwards. Despite Chisato and Mahiro's protests about their clashing personalities, Tasaka insisted they needed to learn to socialize and find part-time work to integrate into society. Reluctantly, the girls accepted his persuasion and were handed the keys to their new apartment. They were told they must learn to understand each other, whether they liked it or not. Turns out, Chisato and Mahiro were both raised in a secret location by the organization, trained to be assassins. That morning, they moved to their new apartment, each with their suitcases in tow. Near their new home, there was a snack shop owned by Takeshi. However, Takeshi had a peculiar habit of jokingly changing the value of small change, causing potential trouble for himself. In the evening, a stern-looking man walked past Takeshi's shop and purchased dumplings for 300 yen, receiving 200 yen in change. Takeshi, known for his playful nature, joked with the man, referring to the 200 yen as 2 million yen. Unfortunately, the man, named Itpei, took the joke seriously and demanded 2 million yen from Takeshi. Takeshi's face drained of color as Itpei insisted on the large sum of money as change. Despite his attempts to explain it was just a joke, Itpei, the leader of the Himokari Yakuza, was not happy. Because of that, Takeshi faced severe consequences, enduring a beating from Itpei and his men. At that time, Itpei vowed to continue demanding the 2 million yen. Meanwhile, a member of the Yakuza named Kazuki reported that their drug sales agent, Tojo, had been killed. Unbeknownst to them, Tojo was the same old man Mahiro and Chisato had assassinated earlier. On the other hand, Himari, a young woman associated with the Yakuza, examined the body and discovered a handkerchief sprayed with perfume left behind by Chisato. The man digging the grave recognized the kill as the work of a professional hitman due to its precision. At that time, Himari and Kazuki, who were raised by Itpei, received orders from him regarding the case. There, Himari took on the responsibility of finding the culprit, promising Itpei she would handle the situation. In the meantime, she was also put in charge of managing their drug supplies. Shortly after, Itpei and his group departed, leaving the investigation in Himari's hands. Soon after, Himari and a man named Watanabe are examining the body together. Turns out, Watanabe isn't just an ordinary man because he's a former member of the Japanese Special Forces who got dismissed because of his involvement in the drug business. So after serving time in prison, he met Himari, fell in love with her, and they began dating. Despite his strong dislike for the Yakuza, Watanabe chose to support Himari, even if it meant being involved with them indirectly. Upon knowing that Himari couldn't contain her excitement and joy upon meeting Watanabe, eagerly anticipating their reunion. Meanwhile, Chisato and Mahiro aren't exactly compatible. Chisato is outgoing and cheerful, while Mahiro prefers a quieter, more introverted lifestyle. Mahiro gets easily disturbed by the noise Chisato makes. Despite their differences, they are actually very close friends. On the other hand, in the darkness of the night, a man named Daiki is seen walking. Daiki is the owner of a restaurant that operates under the control of the Himoka Yakuza. Suddenly, a car arrives, and Watanabe casually arrests Daiki. Inside the car, Daiki is questioned about hiring a hitman to kill Tojo, a member of the Himoka Yakuza. Despite initial denial and resistance, Daiki eventually confesses to the accusation after being threatened. Curious about how they get the information, Daiki asks Himari for an explanation. Himari reveals that they had kidnapped 15 individuals to extract the necessary information. Daiki admits that Tojo had been blackmailing him, despite the restaurant only recently opening. However, Himari is more concerned with identifying the hired killer. There, Daiki admits to hiring someone through a website, explaining that the application form disappeared after submission. Besides that, he reveals that he had paid for 2 targets, with the second being Hanabusa, another local Yakuza under Tojo's authority. Upon hearing that, Himari is thrilled to have found a clue. She plans to use Hanabusa to bait out the hired killer. Suddenly, Himari proposes a duel with Daiki, claiming she'll let him go if he defeats the man next to him. Reluctantly, Daiki agrees to duel Watanabe, but he is easily defeated. Daiki is then handed over to the Yakuza boss, Ippei, and becomes Himari's target for shooting practice. The next day, Chisato, who received a job from the organization, panics realizing she's late for work and forgot her gun once again. Meanwhile, Hanabusa returns home and is surprised to find Chisato barging in. He gets angry and shouts at her, but is silenced when Chisato points a gun at him. However, it's revealed to be a trap as Himari enters the room and Watanabe disarms Hanabusa. Soon after, Himari begins to talk to him, and Chisato is annoyed by her luxurious demeanor. Then, as Chisato moves to attack, she's stopped by Watanabe. Meanwhile, Hanabusa, who expected a reward, finds himself instead being beaten and tied up by Watanabe. Soon after, Chisato wakes up from fainting to see Hanabusa already restrained. She wonders why he's still alive and blames Himari. Upon checking his bag, they discover that Himari had confiscated the gun, listening back to when she had asked Mahiro to borrow it. In the present day, Chisato prepares for work while Mahiro grows tired of staying home, practicing, and waiting for orders from the organization. Eventually, she pleads with Chisato to let her work with her. Though hesitant due to Mahiro's personality, Chisato ultimately agrees. Mahiro hopes that being with Chisato will help her adapt. They soon find out that Mahiro's new job is as a waitress in a maid cafe. And maid cafes, found in the Akihabara area of Tokyo, are unique culinary destinations where the wild fantasies of otaku men come to life. These caves cater to fans of Japanese comics or manga who can see their favorite anime characters dressed in maid outfits. The outfits may sometimes feature short or mini skirts, fulfilling the fantasies of otaku and weeaboos alike. Unfortunately, the problem arises when these 2 girls, despite their cute and innocent appearance, are actually quite dangerous. Mahiro is shocked to discover that her new job is as a waiter at a maid cafe. During Chizato's interview, she showcases her unique style by reciting a spell commonly found in anime, which impresses the interviewer and secures her the job. Meanwhile, Mahiro is taken on as a trainee, with a girl named Himeko serving as their senior and instructor. Shortly after, they begin their training, learning how to serve the otaku customers. However, Chisato's awkward attempts at serving customers would likely alarm them if they knew she was an assassin. Meanwhile, Mahiro feels out of place and uncomfortable in this environment. As they work, they learn about the challenges faced by the maid girls in making money. Even the snacks Chisato brings are seen as luxurious by the other girls, highlighting their dependency on tips from otaku customers. After their shift, they are welcomed into the maid cafe team. However, Mahiro becomes increasingly disappointed. She struggles to keep up the facade and tries to fit in with the other girls by being cute, but eventually decides to leave quietly. She doesn't want to disrupt Chisato, who seems to be enjoying her work. At that time, Mahiro realizes she's better off waiting for orders from the organization and spending her time watching streams online, where she feels more at ease. When Chisato returns home in the morning, she excitedly tells Mahiro about her enjoyable time at work. However, Mahiro remains unconvinced, expressing her discomfort with the job. Then, Chisato suggests that Mahiro should try finding work elsewhere, telling about the importance of stepping out of her comfort zone and interacting with others. However, the situation takes a serious turn when the head of the Yakuza, Ippei, along with his companion, Kazuki, stroll into the Akihabara area where Chisato works. It becomes apparent that Ippei plans to take over the maid cafe. He explains to Kazuki the potential profitability of such businesses in the changing world, inviting him to experience it firsthand. Upon entering the cafe, Himeko warmly welcomes the two, mistaking them for otaku enthusiasts. However, Kazuki reacts angrily and kicks an otaku nearby, causing them to hastily leave. Despite this, Himeko remains enthusiastic, serving the Yakuza do food with whimsical names and insisting they chant a spell before eating. At that time, the two Yakuza continue to cause trouble as Himeko offers to write on an omelette for them. When asked to write Yakuza, Himeko accidentally messes up the tomato sauce. There, Kazuki and Ippei find this amusing, but the Yakuza leader becomes enraged, feeling disrespected by Himeko's mistake. Shortly after, the cafe manager is assaulted, and all the girls are ordered to line up. Kazuki brandishes his gun, terrifying the staff as they realize the Yakuza intend to take over the cafe. Amidst the chaos, Chisato remains calm, refusing to turn away when ordered to by Kazuki, who points his gun at her. In a sudden turn of events, Ippei and his men are killed. Then, Chisato instructs her friends to leave and assures them not to involve the police, promising that things will return to normal the next day. As the terrified staff flee, Chisato, feeling overwhelmed by the sudden turn of events, reluctantly calls Mr. Tasaka, a representative from their organization, to send a cleaner to deal with the aftermath. This man works as a cleaner for the organization, and due to a clash between Yakuza gangs, he's tasked with cleaning up the mess, resulting in the deaths of the two involved individuals. In that moment, Chisato is relieved to hear this and signs the cleaning service order form, though she's surprised by the increased cost. Despite the financial strain, she's forced to pay as it's not the organization's responsibility. Upset about losing her new job and the drain on her savings, Chisato returns home. Meanwhile, Himari sadly examines the bodies of her older brother, Kazuki, and their adoptive father. She notices the scent of perfume on Kazuki's body, recognizing it as Chisato's. When Chisato arrives home, Mahiro apologizes for not being able to take the job, feeling uncomfortable with it. She hopes Chisato won't be angry and will still consider her a friend, knowing it's difficult for her to make friends with introverted people. Upon hearing that, Chisato accepts the apology and teases Mahiro for apologizing so formally. Suddenly, Chisato receives a call from Himari, the furious Yakuza girl, revealing that the people Chisato killed were her older brother and adoptive father. Surprised that Himari knows she's the perpetrator, Chisato learns that her perfume was found on her brother's body, and they were heard arguing. Himari challenges Chisato to come to her place. While offended by the attack on her professional pride, Chisato decides to maintain her common sense and agrees. She plans to bring Mahiro along as backup and asks her friends for help to take down the Yakuza henchmen. After asking Mahiro a few questions and getting her agreement, Chisato explains to her how she got involved with the Yakuza. Soon after, they headed to the location provided by Himari, using bicycles while Himari and Watanabe prepare themselves. On the other hand, the Yakuza, armed to the teeth, were ready to take down the two girls as they entered the room. Despite a man blocking their path and putting up a fight, the girls proved too quick, initiating a fierce battle. The girls shows great teamwork, with Himari relying on the combat training she received from Watanabe. In that moment, Chisato heated up the fight by using Kazuki's gun to shoot, only realizing afterwards that her own machine gun had been lost. Panicking, the girls found themselves under attack from the criminals. As Mahiro intended to pursue Himari, she was unexpectedly attacked by Watanabe, a formidable opponent due to his background as a former Special Forces officer. Unfortunately, Mahiro, frustrated by the lack of information provided by Chisato about the Yakuza's capabilities, found herself in a tough spot. With no other choice, Mahiro tapped into all her skills to defend herself. Despite being cornered and severely beaten, she managed to overpower her assailant, seizing his gun and unleashing a barrage of bullets upon him. At that time, Watanabe never imagined he'd be taken down by a young girl. On the other hand, Mahiro, frustrated and angered, acknowledges his impressive skill. Meanwhile, Chisato and Himari continue their gunfight. However, Himari's erratic behavior proves to be a hindrance, and Himari gets distracted when her water bottle breaks. Overcome with emotion, Himari forgets about the fight and mourns the loss of the water bottle given to her by her foster father. Despite her sweet smile, Chisato manages to defeat her. Soon after, Mahiro scolds Chisato for nearly getting shot and expresses exhaustion from facing opponents who are too strong. After everything's done, Chisato thanks her friend and escorts Mahiro home. Outside, they find their bicycles confiscated by the police due to careless parking, forcing them to walk home. At a cafe, manager Tasaka scolded them for the 24 bodies left in the old building and questions their suitability to live together. At that time, he offers to separate them, but they refuse. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is always double-check your job applications. One wrong move and you could go from serving waffles to serving justice with a side of chaos.